George Stone, and I'm going to be talking through assignment 3, team dynamics. So I've put a little PowerPoint together. So the one theory of team dynamics is obviously first theory, which is there's four key elements and stages within this theory. There's forming, storming, norming, and the performing. This is Bruce Tuckman came up with this theory. So, for example, forming is when a team first, so when a group of people would first meet. So, it would be, for example, when we were at Skern Lodge, the first time we got put into our teams, we then had to do a certain task to begin with. The storming is when a team argues and has disagreements, so that could be when we were at Skern Lodge during our search and rescue task. My group didn't get on very well, so there was a bit of clash of egos during that task. The norming is basically calm and everyone gets on. So an example of that would be rock climbing. So when we were at Skern Lodge, rock climbing was there. So there's no real arguments there, everyone's just enjoying themselves and getting on with it. And performing is sort of in the zone, classes in the zone sort of stage. And an example of that when we were at Skern would be when we were rafting, as our team won the 3 races that were put on during the day. So that would be an example of the performing stage of things. Some of the behavioural effects that these stages have on team development are that sometimes if you're on the first day when you're doing the forming, obviously then if you've just come together as a team, then obviously the team isn't going to, or may not work as well as you'd like it to. It could be just because they haven't had enough time to sort of bond together yet, so it's just not very tightly knitted team. So that would be an example. Obviously we had to do it was a small square outside one of the sleeping houses. We had to try and move one of our team players to another square in a certain way and following certain rules, and obviously that took us a long time, obviously because we didn't know each other and what were our strengths and weaknesses. The next theory is the Ringelmann theory. So the Ringelmann theory is the tendency for individual members of a group to become increasingly less productive as the size of the group increases. So at the beginning of the 3-day residential in Skern, we began with the little square game, and then once we'd had a go at it once through in separate groups, then all the 3 groups were pushed together to try and see if they could do the task as one big group. And once the groups were put together, there were some people that were just sort of stepping back and letting everyone else do the hard work, as it were. So that would be the Ringelmann theory. This affects the performance of the team because obviously if somebody else in the team can see somebody who's just not putting in their all, then it's obviously going to demoralise them. They're not going to want to sort of get involved, or they're going to get angry, and this could cause arguments as well. So just go on to the next one. Cohesion is the next one. So the definition of cohesion is basically it's when a team blends well, or everyone gets on, and the team work together. So it's what brings the team together, and then for them to be able to continue to work well together. There's a few things that affect cohesion. Obviously, so an environmental thing that would affect cohesion would possibly be the weather. So if it was raining, then perhaps the team may not bond as well as they could have. It could be a personal thing, so obviously somebody within the team could just not like somebody else in the team, so that could affect it. So some evidence from Skirn Lodge of some cohesion was when we all came together during the last event of the 3 days was called Clean Sweep, and we had to first of all come up with a plan of what we were going to do before we actually started any of the activities. So that would be obviously, because we all had to come together and then create the plan. That would be a good idea, a good example of cohesion when we were at Skirn Lodge. Leadership is the last one. So the definition of leadership is obviously just if there's a group of people, obviously, and somebody can step forward and be the leader of that group in some way or form, then that's obviously a good positive. But in some occasions it can be negative as well. So, for example, if a situation is a little bit, if you pause it, I've fucking gone.